Hello and welcome to another video. So we're taking a look at a Tenko Shrine deck for rotation. This was created by AutoAim, for any of you guys who know who AutoAim is. He's a pretty great deck creator. You can pretty much find him on Twitter or most of the Shadow Nexus Discord and things like that, you know. He floats around a bit, but he does create some pretty awesome decks, and a few videos I do normally include them, and this one is no exception. It was quite a fun deck to mess around with, and I really enjoy Tenko Shrine, especially when I can play it in both rotation and unlimited. It does take advantage of a couple of the new cards with the White Fang Temple, which in this variant of Tenko Shrine is great. In my variant, not so much. And Oceanus, I think that's how we'll pronounce this. Pretty great with the Ruthful Droplet, which gives you that Restore 2, and a nice way to get at least some form of removal card as well, which isn't overly required, but still not bad. So this deck is definitely one I recommend giving a go. How well it will perform long term, I'm not sure. If there could be some refinement, I'm sure that AutoAim will probably post something if he enjoys playing the deck and wants to refine it, but who knows. Otherwise, I may refine the deck down myself and post a later video, but that will be for another time. So we're going to get right into it and check it out. First opponent is Haven. This is a form of mirror, I believe. We were both running the Tenko Shrine variants, I think, based on what my opponent plays, so definitely shows that it's popular enough. We start off with a pretty reasonable hand, Globe and Tenko in the opener, double Globe even, not too shabby. Of course, some of these matches do go pretty quickly, so don't expect some of them to be super long either. Plus, I'm pumping this video out for you guys on the day of this recording, just so I have this content out to keep up that daily grind, even though it is a little later than usual. But we start off with our Globe really nicely, getting it onto the board on turn 1 without our opponent having any turn 1 play. Really does help us out. Not so lucky, we don't really have much to play now except for another Globe. I mean, what other option is there? Fortunately for us, because of the way these amulets are set up, we do get a third Globe, which should pull the White Fang from the deck, which is pretty easy to do. Plus, setting up for a Tenko on 4 is always a nice way to play. Of course, they do get their own White Fang Temple down pretty quickly, which is what indicated that this was a mirror of some form. Whether they are playing Elena or Tenko, it's still left to be seen, but it's still a fairly interesting go. I mean, Tenko Shrine and Elena would be pretty interchangeable in this deck if you're playing unlimited. Of course, we know this is Tenko Shrine for their opponent as well, because Elena, of course, rotated out. So that should have been pretty obvious from the beginning. But if you were playing an unlimited, it would be something to be careful of. So we get to set up our own Tenko Shrine now, which is going to get a single ping. So we are going to at least get rid of the respawn effect of the Snow White and stop it from proccing with any other cards like Carapace. Plus, we've got a pretty nice double draw next turn. We are going to overdraw by 1, but I am not too concerned by doing that. And with just a little bit of luck on this next play, we should be able to use our own Tenko to trade into their Tenko, and then hopefully, if we're lucky, ping off the 2-2. Worst case, we will miss and we will have to wait another turn, but that's a chance I am willing to take. Because we will have the Tenko, of course, heal us, which will then ping, and then we have our Temple, which will ping, so we have a couple of chances. Of course, we missed the first one, so we do miss out on 2 potential damage to face, but I'll take it for what it is. We have plenty of other cards here, and we're not too concerned at all. There is their Gemstone Carapace and a Holy Bow. Really looking to push that damage to my face now, going extremely aggressively. Of course, they do get their 6/6 out though. So we still have a pretty good chance at going for this Aether of Whitewing, which was kind of my main goal. If I could get this out, I guarantee the Tenko draw. We already have the Heavenly Argus in our hands, so that's not something we're going to be pulling. And the only other pull is Taurus, which honestly doesn't worry me. Especially when we run 3 Eithers. I mean, when the only other decent pull will be Taurus, then we don't really have too many options. So we've now got an awesome board. Our opponent does concede, clearing them out nicely, and since we played our Tenko Shrine second, it's actually quite a nice way to win. Following up on that match, we are going up against Rune.
Moonlight drives me mad.
I believe this was a Earth Rune deck, I think. It's very hard to remember this matchup for myself, but that'll keep things a little more interesting. We start off with a, I would say, still another average hand. The other one was good. This is probably average. Princess Snow White and Carapace are both really nice cards to have together, especially when you have two like this. But having no way to get your Tenko and no way to get other kind of healing does kind of suck. But without seeing a turn 1 play from Rune, it's definitely not something I'm worried about. Of course, this Beast-Faced Mage is a little bit of a struggle. They can get some decent value out of it. And there is our Tenko Shrine, the exact card we needed at this point in the game. Especially since we immediately can follow it with this Globe here to get more draw. We're looking at a really good hand now. Just drawing Tenko Shrine alone instantly ups the value of your hand pretty quickly. So it looks like they're really pushing this, just whatever they can do. I do make a small error here on how I should have played this out, honestly. I could have done I think it's actually next turn. Next turn I play out slightly wrong. I could have done just a little bit better in the upcoming turn.
You're done for.
So how I probably should have handled this entire turn would have been much better. So instead of Black Inscriptioning the 2-3, I should have hit the 2-2, then played Happy Pig and traded that way. It would have stopped them from gaining an extra Earth Sigil, which could be the potential death of me depending on what kind of deck they're running. Of course, we know this is an Earth Sigil deck, but whether it's buff or not, or whether it's a Silverblade, it's really up in the air on what it could have been. So it was a huge risk to give them another Earth Sigil. It did actually stack them right up to 9, but definitely not a risk I would normally take. So now we're pretty much all in at this point. We don't really have any reason to hold off. Being able to force this 4 to the face, plus the heal for an extra 2 damage this turn. Nice round out 6. If Happy Pig dies, we get another nice ping. Unless, of course, they do remove our Tenko Shrine. And there is a Wild Golem. Not the card I expected to see.
It won't be long now.
But definitely one I am happy to see. I don't mind seeing interesting cards, and to see something that you don't normally see is always interesting. So unfortunately, pretty great setup to remove all that in one go. Luckily we do hit the 0-2, which saves us a little bit of hassle. It does open up the Either of White Wing play. I do decide to evolve the Either, which will survive this, and at the same time get rid of the 4-5 because of the Tenko ping. Which also gets us 2 more damage to the face when we're going into turn 8, where Taurus the Great is going to be playable. For a pretty much guaranteed 5 damage to face, unless we need to target something on their board. If that becomes the case, that is how we'll play it. So, Wizard of Oz, unfortunately that is going to be a guaranteed target, something I need to remove. Mutagenic Bolt, that's no real issue to me. We're well ahead in health and we're constantly healing, so I don't mind taking the mutas. And Taurus the Great, probably the best play I've got right now. Could have went with the Beacon, but I really didn't like that one. Not when I can save it for next turn. Plus the development on our board now is actually really good. So Master Mage Levi, that's pretty much a perfect clear for them. I mean, what else was there? We still have a pretty decent way to go. Snow White and Beacon will be a nice way to remove all of this. Plus we have a 6/6 body, which is going to be very hard to deal with. So we get the clear. Fortunately we don't have quite enough to play White Fang, but that will come in handy next turn if we want to. And now we have a board that is going to be hot to handle. Truth Seeker Fost. And another Summoning Drills. That card, Truth Seeker, is really interesting. I liked the idea of the card, wasn't sure how it was going to go overall, but it does seem to do fairly well. It's just very late unless you get lucky. So I can go for my Tenko setup here, which does allow us to start pinging these off. Of course, if I had have done this maybe just slightly better, it might have been alright. This way does guarantee to get rid of, but I should have really kind of rammed the Snow White here. Instead of ramming the 2-4, I could have got the extra 2 damage to face and had them just that little bit closer to lethal. And we would have ended up with the same result, just with better stat lines on the board. So just little things that could have made this game slightly quicker. We would have actually had them at 3. Which of course would have meant a lot less risk involved in that one then. But we still can do okay. The ping effect did work out in our favour, and we have our chance to drop Heavenly Argus, which, unless they can kill me in basically the next turn, should be very close to guaranteeing us the game. And we also got the perfect ping off the Tenko Shrine, removing the Levi, which means that we only have to deal with this card that can't attack, the 6/6 Abomination. Consecration, so they were really pushing it. Lucky for me, they just kind of run out of options, but it did work quite well. So a big shout out to Auto Aim, because this deck is a lot of fun. Like I said, I recommend giving it a go if you are interested in a Haven deck, especially if you're interested in Tenko. I really hope Tenko can win that leader poll. I would love to see her up on as a leader, so that would be amazing. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. You will find this deck list in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.